You see, there are many ways to kill someone, many ways to murder them. You can poison them, you can strangle them, you can run them over, you can attach lasers to a shark or something like that. Like, there's lots of options. But all murder begins in the heart. You can use any part of your body, you can even use a machine to do your bidding. But murder begins in the heart. All murder begins in the heart. All murder begins with anger. That's what Jesus is saying. That's what God is trying to get at. The only way you can fulfill this, because, you're probably not going to murder somebody, but if it's an angry society, I think we are seeing that in our culture right now, but the more anger we get, the more murder we get. Anger begins in the heart. Let's just be honest. Anger dominates our lives. Right? It preoccupies your thoughts. I know I'm not the only person who has shower conversations where I say the thing that I probably should have said, but I get to rehearse it a few times. Maybe it's in the car, you get to tell that person off. Or how much of your thought process has to do with revenge thinking? This idea that I want to get back at that person, or I just want that person to get their comeuppance. I want something bad to happen to that person because they're a bad boss, and they were a bad leader, and they were a bad manager, and they betrayed me. They took credit for my projects. They lied about me. They spread rumors. Eventually, I had to move on from the company, and it was painful, and they got away with They just got away with it, and you're just waiting to hear back. You're just waiting for LinkedIn for them to post that they are like desperate for a job. Like, that's what you're looking for. How much of that revenge thinking do you get? Or how often do you replay the pain of something that happened to you? That guy that did that. The parent that wasn't there. The person you loved who didn't love you back. And you just keep hitting replay, reliving that pain. It stokes that anger. Do you play the what are they doing now game? Do you follow people on Facebook you can't stand just to see what's going on? Are you keeping score? Ever since that happened, has your life gotten better and their life gotten worse and you're winning, or is it reversed? Anger just dominates our thoughts, and it dominates our agenda. Anger just seems to leak in, and then all of a sudden what should be all about a family vacation and a wonderful time together becomes trying to put the best life possible on Instagram or Facebook because you're trying to prove something to somebody who you should have just let go of a long time ago. Or maybe your agenda becomes all about trying to prove to a boss that wasn't there. This happened to me. I had an issue with a boss when I was in Dallas. And truth and time walk hand in hand, and all this stuff kind of comes out about him eventually. But after I left Dallas, I felt betrayed. I felt mistreated, and I went to another job, and everything I do, I just had my ex-boss's face right there, and as if he was able to watch the good thing I was doing. And it became all about that and not about the actual job that God had called me to. It dominates our agenda. Or it turns us into these people who just have to protect ourselves because this bad thing happened. It's never going to happen again. I'm going to make sure it never happens to me again. And they're going to happen to anybody I ever love. And so now I'm a crusader. I'm on a war path. I'm just going to protect everybody. I'm going to put down mean people. I'm going to fight all the bullies. That's what I'm going to do. But that's just anger dominating your life. It even taints how we see the world or the information that we receive it. Have you ever gotten a happy birthday text from someone you were mad at? How conflicting is that? You're like, hey, you remembered me, but you didn't remember me when you took credit for what I did. You didn't remember me when you didn't invite me to that. You didn't remember me when this happened or that happened. I think this is what happens so much, unfortunately, in our political system, where we're watching something in the way that not politics necessarily works, but the way campaigns work. It's just to keep the two sides angry at each other. And so you only hear one side of your opponent's story or even one side of your own candidate's story. And if somebody signs up for the other candidate, if they put the wrong sign in front of their house, oh, you're a little angry. Why? They didn't do anything wrong. But because anger seems to taint everything we do. And anger's always churning in us. And then every once in a while, it just bursts out. It explodes when we have too much work stress. It explodes in a traffic jam. It explodes when a child makes an embarrassing accident. Where does that come from? What's weird is that we've gotten so good at hiding it. We've protected these techniques to kind of polish our facade or to diffuse our anger into humor or sarcasm. That's what I'm good at. Or we just shove it down. We just tap it down. We just it's going to be okay. Or we medicate it with something else. And we forget that we're even angry. I don't know about you, but in my experience, some of the angriest people I know don't even know they're angry. That was me. I remember giving a sermon when I was in my 20s. I was in seminary. It was my big opportunity, and I kind of got called up to the minor leagues or whatever it was. And I give this sermon, and I'm feeling really good about it. And then afterwards, I'm talking to my friend. I'm like, hey, man, what'd you think about it? He goes, yeah. I'm like, I'll keep going. He doesn't know he's running out of words. There's so many adjectives. He doesn't know how to pick one. And then he just goes, you just seemed really angry. What? He's like, yeah, you seemed really, really angry. So I turn to my wife and I go, does he seem angry? She goes, yeah, he's really pissed. And I was clueless to that. And sometimes that's us. We walk around with anger and it's not really paying attention. We're some of the angriest people we know don't even know they're angry. Now, to be clear, Jesus does not forbid anger. Anger is a human emotion, and if you're angry, there's a reason for that, and you should pay attention to that. Jesus got angry at the religious elite. Jesus got angry when he cleared the temple from all the money trading, all the scamming, all the people selling merch instead of letting other people come in to worship the Yahweh God. But he never attacked anybody. He never destroyed the image of God on people. In fact, all of his anger led to him to want to restore the image of God in people. So he healed the broken, and he reasoned with the stubborn. He forgave screw-ups, and he brought life to death.